going to talk to you now about the different definitions of costs and fees when we're talking about the litigation process. It's a simple concept, but people understandably get confused because in everyday life we don't talk about costs and fees, we just talk about costs. If I want to know how much a bag of potato chips is, I look at the price tag to see how much it costs. I don't consider how the labor fees that went into it. But it's important that you understand the difference because you're going to hear attorneys and judges use this term if you are in the litigation process. Costs in litigation are what I'm going to call hard costs to actually buy services to pursue the litigation. They are everything but what you're going to pay your attorney, even if you're on contingency. Examples might include a court filing fee. In most places in the country, you've got to pay a fee to even file a case in court. In federal court, it's $400. In state courts, it may be different. So in our example, let's say we're going to use our play money here, that it costs us $100 to file in court. Now, other examples of costs could be if you're in discovery and you're having to produce paper or electronic files, it's possible that you may have copying expenses. Those aren't going to be tremendous, but they can add up. Let's say we have to produce a number of notebooks of all kinds of documents and emails and financial records that we've got to produce to the other side. And that's going to cost us another $100 to do that. Now, the important thing to consider when you're thinking about litigation and where costs really tend to rise is when we get into depositions. Because with depositions, we have to hire a court reporter to come and sit and listen to the deposition and transcribe it. And then we've got to pay for the transcription. Now, the cost of that will vary, but in the Washington, D.C. area, sort of a rule of thumb for an all-day deposition, it's anywhere between $800 and $1,000 that's not attorney time, just to pay the court reporter and pay for the transcript. So it's like in our case, we're going to take 5 depositions, and we're now at we're going to say it's $500 with our play money here. So here are what we call the costs associated with your litigation. Now let me back up and say the costs prior to litigation, that is if you're doing a demand letter or you're not in court yet, it's likely that they're going to be minimal or not much at all. But it's something to talk to your attorney about so you know what you are liable for under your retainer agreement. Now we're back to our example. Now it took attorney time to be able to prepare this complaint, to turn over the documents, and certainly to prepare you or prepare for the deposition and go to the deposition. And these are going to be much higher because let's say we're back in 1930 and you're paying your attorney $100 an hour, and so we've got the attorney has put 15, 20 hours into this for all of this. So and we've got our $20 here in attorney's fees. So when attorneys in courts talk about this is the difference. These are the hard costs. Again, filing fees, copying expenses, and particularly court reporter and transcripts can be expensive. Now that does not include experts. Experts can also be a cost. So for example, we're not thinking about attorney fees here, but we're talking about costs. Let's suppose you want to hire a psychologist to talk about your emotional distress damages, then you've got to pay for their time. That can be expensive. So we're adding another $500 here in our play money, and then we're going to add some more money here for attorney time for being able to prepare your expert for depositions and that sort of thing. But again, these are separate. So these are attorney's fees. These are not considered in our costs. How much are costs? It depends on the case. If you're talking about an employment case in the Washington, D.C. area, I would say a ballpark figure is anywhere between $7,000 and $10,000 to get to summary judgment, even if you don't have experts. If you've got experts, then it can easily get above $10,000 just for the costs. And the fees, the attorney's fees, are what you pay your attorney to provide these services. But again, courts and lawyers consider these separately, so make sure you're clear on which category is which when you're thinking about litigation.